Hello everyone and welcome back to Meeple Leaf Reviews. I'm Jeffrey.
And I am Jacob.
And today we're going to be doing a review of the Gallerist from Eagle-Gryphon Games. Now this isn't going to be like a typical review. We're not going to be doing any rules explanation. We're just going to jump right in and tell you what we think of the game.
Yeah.
So with that, let's get started with the art and components.
Yeah, art and components. The artwork's really good.
Yeah, well, it's a game about
art, so it should be. Yeah. I guess that comes down to your particular tastes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not sci-fi gritty or anything like that. It's art.
Yeah.
So
High
take
class.
it or leave it. The components. This is like the highest quality components I think I've ever seen in a game, except maybe the meeples. Some of the meeples are missing arms and legs, and
well, it's trying to encompass all
encompass everyone.
Yeah, I would agree. The cardboard is like very thick stock.
Yeah.
The insert that comes with the game is really great.
Yeah.
You don't have to fiddle and try and get every piece in the perfect hole. There's just a bunch of spaces you throw stuff in. It's really great art and components. I really like it.
Yeah, it's solid.
All right, for rules and teaching, I found the rulebook was really clear. There wasn't a whole lot of vagueness in the rules. It was just, you do this, you do that. And then it was very clear there wasn't any weird interaction between rules, so that was good.
Okay.
And I found the teaching to go by pretty well. Now, I taught you the game, so how was the learning aspect?
Learning was a little tricky. I felt like it took about 3 games before I was like, okay, I know exactly what's going on now.
Yeah.
The first game was kind of a wash, just taking actions and reactions and stuff. But I think second and third game was when I kind of finally everything clicked, and it was like, okay, I got it all.
Yeah, and they give player aids to each person, which breaks down what each of the individual actions do.
Yeah.
But again, by the second and third play, I think you have it figured out, and you don't really need them at all. Yeah. As well as there's little reminders for when you take the reputation action, you have to remove a visitor from your lobby. So those are good as well.
Yeah, it's just the little finicky rules that you're trying to remember, and timing issues and stuff. And yeah, but it just takes a little bit of time.
The other thing that this game had, and it's just a small piece of cardboard, but I love it when games include these, and it's set up reference cards. So when you're setting up the game, you don't need to pull open the rule book.
Yeah,
you just look at the card and you're like, okay, I need this many visitors for this many players, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
I really like it when games include those.
Yeah.
So what did you feel about the theme?
Okay, well, the theme, most of the actions I felt were fairly thematic. You're coming over here and you're endorsing this artist, and then you need to buy some artwork from them and create a contract with them, and then you sell it to someone, and that person leaves your gallery with that artwork.
Yeah, I found that was the most thematic thing in the game is when you sell a piece of art, you have to move a visitor from your gallery out to the plaza, and you just picture him walking out with this big bundle under his arm. Everything else I found very thematic. Money's tight, which if you were running a gallery, money would be tight. You're trying to use your influence to try and get some bonus actions, exerting it here and there. Hiring your assistants to do little odd jobs around the place for you to give you that extra boost. Yeah, I found it was just, everything was dripping with theme in this game.
The only thing that I felt wasn't really thematic, or I didn't see the theme in it, was the scoring tiles that you can purchase. You send your assistants off and you're getting these little tiles that you put into your tableau, which is your particular endgame scoring stuff. And I don't know what the theme was for that.
I'm not sure. You could come up with something like maybe that assistant is kind of smooching up to a particular collector, and
maybe it's marketing.
Maybe
it's marketing.
But yeah, I definitely felt the theme was there in this game.
Yeah, it was. For the majority of the actions, it was there in spades.
What about now the meat of the game, the gameplay and mechanics? And this is I would say a heavy game for sure.
Yeah.
I really liked the worker placement aspect, where you really got to make a tough decision of, do I want to take an action where someone has a pawn and potentially give them a full action again, or do I want to wait and try and go to another action first.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because there's only 4 action spaces you can go to in the entirety of the game. Each of those has 2 separate actions. You have to choose one of them that you want to take. And if someone is there, someone already has their meeple there, then you're kicking them out, and they have the potential to take a bonus action.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really interesting that, you know, in a worker placement style game, normally you just have infinite choices, and you're going over and you're blocking people. In this game, there's no blocking. It's just, if you come here and kick me out, I could very well get a really powerful action out of that.
So you're trying to time it when the person isn't quite ready to take that action yet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best time to take that action. I also really liked like you mentioned, the building your own in-game scoring.
Yeah.
You can go grab those reputation tiles, which you build as you go. You're like, okay, I want to get a whole lot of sculptures, and there's a tile that gives me extra points for those. I'm going to grab that. So I really like that build your own in-game scoring conditions.
And I like how they're not really powerful.
No.
Like each tile that you get maybe gives you a total of, I don't know, 8 to 10 points, 8 to 12 points in a game where what was our last score? 140. So if you're getting like 4 of these tiles, you're getting like maybe 40 points. Yeah. From that, so it's not a huge deal, but
it still could just push you over, because our last game came down to a tiebreaker, the second tiebreaker.
Yeah, so the second tiebreaker. That was crazy.
It's a close game. I also liked that you have to manage your influence, because when you take those kicked out actions, you drop down like a star level, so you want to be just above the star level, so that you don't drop down just as much. So that was another little managing aspect that I really enjoyed. Yeah,
it was really, really interesting. You always want to just get yourself just over that star level feature, so that if you do take a kicked out action, you're only dropping 1 place instead of 5. And trying to time that, it's difficult to manage all your different resources. You need money, which is super important in the game, and you need influence, which is super important in the game.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come by as well. Those aren't easy things to get.
No, you really need to plan it out and try and maximize everything.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really like is kind of a pool building aspect to the game, where you're trying to get all these different visitors in your gallery, and you use the tickets to move them.
Yeah.
And you really need to time that well, because if you move them only into your lobby without getting them into your gallery where they're locked, and someone moves them out of your lobby, and you're like, well, I needed them there so I could go take this action, you got to be careful.
There's a lot of subtle plays that you can do, especially with that whole kicked out action that we were previously talking about. If you see someone has a potential to take a kicked out action that might rely on them having that person in their lobby, you could take an executive action first to pull that guy out of the lobby, if you're paying attention, and then take your full action, kick them out, and they might not be able to do it.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's really lots of little subtle plays in there that I liked.
Yeah, I feel there's a whole lot of layers, and we were just starting to peel them back towards the later games. Yeah. And I felt that like you said, there was some player interaction. You want to go to spaces where you think that your opponent's going to go, so you can get the benefit of those kicked out actions.
Yeah, for sure.
And you want to manipulate those visitors. If you see that there's only 1 white collector in the middle, and you're like, I'm going to take 2 white tickets, get him in my gallery now, so that my opponent can't get him.
Yeah.
So there's interaction, but it's more subtle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. I quite like it.
Yeah. So shall we go on to the final rating?
Let's do it.
So I gave this game a rating of 8.5.
Okay.
Out of 10. So if someone suggests playing it, I'll probably not turn it down, and I'll probably suggest it fairly often.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a heavier game, so you gotta set that aside. You know, the mental capacity. The time wise, though, it's not that bad. It's only with 2 players, we were getting it down to an hour and 10 minutes. Each play.
Yeah. Have you played it more than 2 players?
No, I've only ever played it 2 player.
Right. So I'm not sure how the length would extend if you were to go 4 player.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a 2-hour game?
Who knows?
I don't know.
But I feel that it works really well with 2.
Yeah.
Which is
a great game for 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a brain burner. There's lots going on, and you need to I think this is a game that you need to play more than once to really appreciate it. And so I'm going to give it, I don't know, I'm going to give it an 8.1
out of 10.
An 8.1 out of 10, yeah. I think it's a great game.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason I wouldn't want to play it is due to just the mental capacity that this game takes. It's probably a game that I would only want to play once in the evening. I would never want to play it more than once, I don't think, just because I'd be like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
But, great game.
Yeah, you feel like you've accomplished something when the game is over. Like you went to work.
Yeah.
And you ran this gallery as best you could. It's still great, though.
Yeah.
So that's the Gallerist from Eagle-Gryphon Games, designed by Vital Lacerda. If that sounds cool to you, check it out. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.